quick update. So, Veet, same status. He's been around, but he won't play on Sunday because of the same logistical stuff, visa stuff. K. Rich did some work today, but no live reps. Favors took live reps today for the first time in true like up and down 5-on-5, and then Gabby Deck was out today with a groin thing. He's day to day.
So, other than B, is anyone out for sure Sunday?
I would not expect Favors to go Sunday.
Okay.
He took live reps today, but I wouldn't expect him to play. Deck and K. Rich, I would guess no. Deck, I don't know.
Coach, just curious, after 2 weeks of training camp now, has anything changed or evolved, if anything at all, in terms of what you've been able to work on and start implementing with this group?
Yeah, we're trying to get some layering in, which you have to do eventually. You know, you try to really establish like a clear identity on both ends of the floor, but then you want to layer stuff in. You're going to have to make some adjustments. You want those built into your system. You don't want to have to do that on the fly in the season. But the challenge is always not losing your identity in the name of layering. Sometimes when you layer too much, you kind of lose yourself. And so toggling between new implementations and also just doubling down on, you know, who we are, who we want to be, that sort of thing. So we're in that process.
You had Roby playing with a bunch of different lineups on Sunday. It seemed like, K-Rich is one of those blue guys. It seems like Roby was putting in to kind of get that consistency. Did you see from him in this week of practice kind of following that?
Yeah, I mean, Isaiah, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, your mask, I didn't know. Yeah, he's become a more reliable player just with a year of experience. You know, he played a lot of 5 early in the year, had a lot of experiences there. He's guarding Embiid, Jokic, you know, all those guys. And then when Moses was in the mix last year, he was playing a lot of 4, which I think diversified his experiences last season. So he can do a lot of different things. He's versatile. You know, he understands what we're trying to get done on both ends of the floor. And so as a result, you can play him with a lot of different people, and he gives you that option.
So I know we talked earlier in the week just about your defense is mostly predicated on the personnel you have out there. You're going to play drop, sometimes switch, trap, whatever. Do the numbers say in general, like, this strategy, if you had the personnel, would be the one that you'd want to play as much as possible?
I think the reason most of the league has gotten very drop happy is because of the shot distribution it typically yields. If you're following analytics, that defense is going to force the type of shots that are inefficient. There are players that are so good in it that it's no longer efficient to do it. And so switching them or going and getting them, you know, is the way to go. But when you go and get them, you now have to protect the paint with somebody other than your big, which puts you in rotation. And rotation usually means more threes and more shots in the paint. So we try to be selective when we go to that. But yeah, I mean, the switching's interesting. It depends on who's switching. You know, if you're switching like sizes, it's probably really efficient. If you're switching to a mismatch, then it's inefficient because you're going to have to put 2 on the ball anyways. So, but the drop is the most efficient. It's why most teams do it. But the talent in the league forces you to adjust out of it.
In general, as you watch games and are in the midst of it, what percentage of 3-second violations are actually being called when teams are in drop coverages? Is the strategy, I guess what I'm asking is some of the strategy, they're not going to call 100% of the time that we're camping out in the lane.
Yeah, typically the D3s are called on ISOs and post-ups. You know, usually when they catch you on it, it's on a D3 or a post-up. If a referee's calling a D3 in the flow of the game and he's correct, he's a really good ref, or he's looking for it. But yeah, typically, so, and the drop coverage, the minute the guard comes off, technically the drop defender, you could say, is guarding the ball and therefore is allowed to be in there. So there's a reason why they don't call it in the actual coverage as well, because the minute the guard engages, you could make the argument that he's guarding the ball and he's just way off.
Mark, at this point, what is B able to do? Is he full go yet?
He can't play in games. he's with us every day. He's around the team. He's doing that stuff. He's out here working out, practicing, doing all that. But he's not cleared by, I don't know who it is, but he's got to get cleared for his visa before he can play in games. So he's limited in that way.
But if that wasn't an issue, is he physically cleared?
Oh yeah. Yes. We've managed that. I mean, he's coming off an ACL. He's returned to performance, like I said. But yeah, he's moving. I mean, he's going. He's feeling good. But he's also coming off an ACL and working his way back from that. So we're managing that process. So he may not be taking every single rep that every other guy's taking, but it's more precaution, testing him and seeing what he can do, pulling back if he's a little sore, which has happened a little bit. But yeah, he's rolling. He's on his way. The main thing for him right now is the visa stuff.
Anybody else in the room? Let's take the Zoom. See if anybody's got any questions on the Zoom. Got some questions on the Zoom. Let's go with Andrew Schleck first. Go ahead, Andrew, with your question.
Hey, Coach, you got me?
I got you.
Can you tell me the type of shots that you're looking for Trey Mann to take? He's real twitchy with the ball and somebody that seems like he can get whatever shot he wants. But are there any specific types of shots that you're looking for him to take?
More threes, but he's learning, the length of defenders, the quickness he needs to get it off. But, I mean, in order for him, with all these guys, we're looking to build efficient styles of play with them within their game. And for him to be the most efficient he can be, we think him shooting more threes is going to yield that because he's going to make enough of them. He's also going to force defenses to close to him, go over on screens, and that's going to kind of open his game up. And it opens up his drive and kick because he's actually an excellent passer. But when he passes up those shots, he doesn't gain the advantages that allow his passing to flower. So, but I do think some of his hesitation is the length and the speed of the defenses. He's still getting used to that, so that's going to take some time. I think if you asked him, he'd like to be taken more, but he's learning how to do it, and he's not a pig, so he's not going to just go out there and force them. But it's definitely something we've talked about with him. His finishing's been impressive too. He's a better finisher than I thought he was.
Yeah. Are you specifically talking about, because when I'm watching him, I feel like I see opportunities for pull-up threes in particular. Is that the kind of shot that you're wanting him to take, like off the dribble pull-up threes?
Sure, yeah. I mean, he's a guy, our vision for him is shifty with the ball, got to be better off the ball in terms of being able to shake people free. Obviously, at his size, he's going to have to get space, and with the ball, he gets it. Off the ball, he's improving at it. Now I think the biggest thing is him learning how much space he has or doesn't have and whether or not that should yield a shot or not. But like there was a play in the Charlotte game where if you pause the film, his defender's like in the paint and he could tee up a three. It's clearly one he could have gotten off. But he's just thinking a little bit, I think. So it's just a matter of reps, and we're certainly working on it. We're trying to accelerate it in his pre-practice work and stuff like that. But yeah, off the dribble threes, sure. He plays the right way, so he's going to have kind of a blank check in terms of decision making because you can give a guy that plays the right way that kind of freedom, and he's going to have that.
All right. Next up, we'll go to Christos Saltis. Go ahead with your question, Christos.
Hello, Coach.
Hey, Christos.
You're doing
Same to you.
well. Thank you very much. My question to you is, what is the most challenging part of the season from your perspective overall?
You said challenging, Christos?
Yes.
I mean, it sounds like a little bit cliche, but just the 82-game slog, when you add in travel, every opponent is going to be prepared. Players bring it every night. There's a lot of talent in the NBA. Everybody's well coached. Everybody executes. Everybody plays hard. And so the margins are thin. It's hard to find advantages in that way. And so the biggest challenge is through the ups and downs of an 82-game season, can we stay as consistent and high-functioning as possible every single day, every game and every day that isn't a game, within all those distractions, all the emotions of the games, wins, losses, good games, bad games, injuries. As you endure all that stuff, can you figure out a way to thrive? And we think the way to do that is to find a really consistent way of doing things and trying to train our team to embrace that and to dive into that and to really attack that. And our guys so far have done a good job of that, and we think they will this season.
And also speaking about Poku, can, obviously this season he's gonna step into a bigger role. Can he be one of the leaders of his team on the floor?
I mean, we have a saying: the leader is the person doing the right thing. So every time Poku does the right thing, he's leading. And that's kind of how we define leadership here, rather than like handing it to people based on status or position. When a big sets a screen at a good angle, he's leading. You know, when a player is on time and ready, he's leading. When we travel and are respectful on the road, we're leading. And Poku has the same opportunity as everybody else to do that.
And last question, we're going to go to Graham. Go ahead, Graham, with your question.
Hey, Coach. You talked many times this season about how you guys are building and setting a baseline. So I was just wondering how nice it'll be to get out there in a low-pressure situation and play against a championship caliber team and a great player like Giannis, and so your guys can see, you know, what the goal is and where the end game is for where your organization wants to be.
Yeah, in the preseason, it's, you know, every time you play a game, it's a good checkpoint on how things are going. We're trying to use all 15 practices, all 4 games, and all 3.5 weeks to build and prepare ourselves for the challenges of the season. And when you can have a checkpoint against an elite team, it really is revealing. You know, so we're going to learn a lot on Sunday about our individual players, our team, where we're at, just like we did against Charlotte. You know, these are really, really important learning lessons for us, and the opportunity to then not only play a game but then have a stretch of practices is really important, because, you know, sometimes in the season you have improvements you need to make, but you just don't have a ton of time before the next game. In this case, you know, we still have a lot of practice left, plus 3 games, so there's a lot to learn, and, you know, Milwaukee's a great team to do it against because they're a great team, obviously.